Over here on the side, we're just going to talk about what they look like before we actually get into telling if they're linear or exponential. So if I'm looking at an equation, right, linear, linear, I can't spell today. Linear looks like what? Y equals mx plus b, right? So it looks like mx plus b. Exponential, I'll do that in this color. Exponential looks like y equals a times b to the x power, right? So remember, exponential has the variable as an exponent. Exponential, exponent kind of go together. If that kind of helps. Let's talk about the graph next. If it's linear, guys, I'm not going to spell it out. I'm just going to do LIN and EXP. I hope you're okay with that. If it's linear, it's straight, right? STRAIGHT. It's a straight line. Okay, right? It's straight, like this. Straight. Okay. If it's exponential, it's a curved line. I want to say curved, a steeply curved line. Let's say that. Steeply curved line, which means it starts out as a line and then it kind of goes up, right? So it looks like kind of a curved L is kind of what I think of it like. An L with like a curve at the bend, right? That's kind of what it looks like. Table. Let's talk about the table. If it's linear, it has a common, let's not say common because we're not really using that. Oh, wow. We are using that term, but we haven't really defined it very well yet. So if it's linear, we're adding the same thing, right? Adding same thing. And if it's exponential, what am I doing? Multiplying this same thing. Okay. And then the new thing we're going to look at, new thing, you like my, oh, Esther, sorry, honey, is a context, which is a story problem. Context, if I can spell. So how we're going to do a story problem, honestly, I'm just going to tell you, is make a table. Make a table. Right, so we're going to make a table and then use the table rule, and then we're going to use the rules here, okay, to decide if it's linear or exponential. So that's how we're going to do this. We're going to look at it, try and see if it's linear or exponential. That's it. And then you guys have a checkpoint that we're going to do in class today, at least the first attempt in class today. And guess what it is? It's telling if it's linear or exponential. I'm going to give you, you're going to get one of these 4 different types of representations, and you just have to say linear or exponential. Which one isn't? Okay. I don't want you to just rush through it. I do want you to actually try. You do have the reference sheet from yesterday that kind of, that sheet that we did for notes yesterday that kind of says, okay, this is what it looks like, right? Or we'll talk about, you'll have this also if you're taking notes today to help you through the checkpoint, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is linear, this is exponential, this is how I find it. So make sure you're using these notes, especially when you're taking your checkpoints, you guys. I mean, you have a unique opportunity to do that, because if we were in class, there would be no notes used on checkpoints at all. So right now, you guys are at home, I can't watch you, I don't know what you're doing checkpoints away from me, and like today will be the first checkpoint we're actually going to do in class together, where you guys can use your notes. I mean, use what you have to help you do this to get a better grade. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at these first 2 here. Okay. Is A linear or exponential? So just type it in the chat box. You know, today I've been giving credit for people who've been typing stuff in the chat box and given 0 points for people who have not been typing in the chat box. So you might just want to type an answer in the chat box. I'm going to tell you. First class, I gave everyone that was typing stuff in the chat box 100 points. Everyone who wasn't, a 0. So tell me if it's linear or exponential. And if you got yes and yes, good job, you two. Yeah, A. Yep, we're on A. And you guys don't even have to type out the full word. You can do what I did and do EXP or LIN. Okay? So the first one I'm going to look at, so if I go over here to my little notes here, right? So first of all, linear, it says y equals mx plus b. So there's nothing, if I look at here, my x, look at my x in this equation. Look where my x is. My x is up here. So it's like a little exponent here, right? So it's an exponent. Look at here. Here, I'm going to look at my two equations that I have over here. And here's an x that's an exponent. So therefore, my 6 times 2 to the x power is going to be exponential. Oh, I hate it when I forget that, you guys. Exponential. Let's try that again. Exponential. I'm going to spell EXP because, just so you guys know, I'm not a very good speller. So I don't want to sit here and spell out exponential all the time. Let's see. Who did I let into class? Olivia and Ernesto and Esta. Okay. Okay, so what about B? What type of equation is B? Is it linear or exponential? I have the little notes that we have on the side over here. Is it linear or exponential? Nice, Mateo, yep. Yes, Alex, good. So if I look at it, it says y equals something x plus something. Well, exponential, I just want to point out over here, if I look back over here at this equation here, has no adding in it at all, right? Nothing's being added in that equation. So it's probably not, I know, right? That 100 points will come in handy. It has nothing being added to it. So if I look up here at my linear, it says mx plus b. Well, this is mx plus b. So this is linear. Okay? And it's not really that hard to type an answer into the chat box, right? I mean, whether you're right or wrong, at least you're participating in class. That's what I want you guys. I want you guys to participate somehow in class. That's what I need you guys to do. And if you get it wrong, at least I know that you're having difficulties. If you just sit there and say nothing to me, then what do I know? I don't know that you're doing anything. How do I even know, since your cameras aren't on, how do I even know if you're sitting there? See? This is why you guys can get 100 points for actually paying attention and putting stuff into the chat box. Okay, so let's look at C. And here's our information on our graph. I'm going to kind of try and keep what I wrote on the side on here too. So if it's a graph, is it a straight line or a curved line? So is C linear or exponential? Oh, good. Nice, Esta. Yeah. Yes, Jonathan. Good. Mateo, you were already right. Anybody else going to answer? So this is curved. If you look at it, it's kind of, I kind of see kind of a little L shape. To me, I can use my big imagination and say, oh yeah, that kind of looks like a curved L. So that is exponential. Okay. So now we're going to go to the table. And remember, the table, I'm adding the same thing if it's linear, and I'm multiplying the same thing if it's exponential. So I always try and do add first because adding is easier, right? So how do and when I'm doing that, I'm going to be looking at my y values. I'm I'm going to look at the y values first. So I am always going to look at my x values just to make sure I'm counting by 1. So I am counting by 1 on my x values, so I'm good to go. Because sometimes if I'm not counting by 1 every time on my x values and my y values aren't adding by the same, then I might be able to do some sort of manipulation. But I'm going to tell you right now, none of the problems I've given you are like that. So it's always counting by 1 or 2s or something by an even interval. But some tables are not, just so you know that. So you have to kind of pay attention to that. But this is an even interval. So what do I do to get from 1 to 3? Add 4. And 3 plus 4 is 7. Oh, I don't want to put that there. 3 plus 4 is 7, so I'm adding 4 again. And 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, is 11. And 11 plus 4 is 15. So I'm adding the same thing every time. So that means this is linear. Okay? Does that make sense? I'm trying to talk through how I think in my brain for you guys so you can maybe figure this out a little bit in your own brains. Okay? So let's look at the story problem. Okay. Says your savings account starts with $300. Every Friday you deposit $50 into your account. So I'm just going to make a real quick little table because it'll be easy. So X and Y. So starts, that means on 0. I'm starting with $300. Okay. On the first Friday I deposit $50, so I have $350. On the second Friday I deposit... it says every Friday deposit, so I deposit another $50, so I have $400. On the third day, I deposit another $50, so I have $450. Ooh, sorry, my iPad slipped. $450. So what am I doing every single time? Well, I'm adding 50 every single time. So that means this is a linear function. Okay? Does that make sense on the story problem? Just make a table. Okay, let's go to D. Woo! What is D? Linear or exponential, and why? So remember, if it's a table and it's linear, where's my table? Here we go. Here's my table information. Linear, I'm adding the same thing every time. So let's just skip over the fraction because, it's a fraction. So what do I add to 3 to get 12? There we go. So if I'm adding 9, I would add 9, right? And 9 plus 12 is not 48, so it cannot be linear. So, however, it could not be exponential. I just want you to know that it could not be exponential. So we want to make sure that it is. Exponential means I'm multiplying. So what do I multiply 3 by to get 12? Well, that would be 4. Well, 4 times 12 is 48, so I'm multiplying by 4 again. And then you have to get out your calculator to know that 48 times 4 is 192. So I'm multiplying by 4. And I bet if I multiply 3/4 times 4, I would get 3. So this means this is exponential. And let me put the tables down here for just a second so they're both on the same page. Look at the difference between linear and exponential. What happens on exponential? Look how big the numbers get. 3, 12, 48, 192. There's no way I'm adding the same number there, right? There's just no way if I just look at the numbers. Look at the numbers here, 3, 7, 11, 15. They're all, like the same distance apart. That's adding the same thing. If they're like growing really, really big, That's what the graph does, remember? As I'm going, it curves up really, really steeply like this, right? It's going, and then all of a sudden it just shoots up because at number 3, I'm at 192. I was at 48, now I'm at 192. So it curves really steeply, and that's what makes it exponential. Okay, does that help out a little bit with thinking about the table? Okay, so let's go to, I'm so sorry, E. Is E a linear or an exponential function? Nice, Mateo. Yeah. Anybody else have an answer? Yes, yes, Esther, good. Yes, Jonathan. Good, Roberto. So if you guys were late, I'm just going to say this. If you're not answering in the chat, you're going to get 0 points today. So you guys better start participating. Okay. So this is linear because it makes a line. Linear. Because it makes a line. So it's linear. It's a straight line. Okay. And now let's do the last one. Ooh, this is so cold. Okay. So we're going to make a table again. So I have a table. I have X and I have Y. Your savings account starts with $10. So it starts with $10 every month. So the first month is the amount in your account doubles. What does it mean to double something? Ooh. Yeah, good, Alex. To double something means I'm going to multiply times 2. Yeah, good, Ernesto. So I'm timesing by 2. So 10 times 2 is 20. The second month it doubles again. That means it's 40. The third month it doubles again. It means it's 8. Man, that would be a great savings account to have. I'm just going to tell you, if your money doubled every month. Okay, so that means I'm multiplying by 2. And since I'm multiplying by the same thing, that means that this is exponential. Okay? Nice job. Okay, so as you can see, we're going to go now, everyone, to the Nearpod in Canvas. So I will meet you guys, all 13 of you, in the Canvas Nearpod. Okay, it's just real quick thing, and then we have one more thing to do after that, and then you guys can be working on some homework. So let's go to the Nearpod. I need to quit sharing. Oh, I need to stop recording first.